Three questions after that.
Good morning. I would like to start first by wishing all Muslims a blessed Ramadan and an advanced Eid Mubarak. I truly hope that its return next year be in times of peace for this great country. It pains me to say, however, that we are not on the track for peace in Syria, and the escalations we have witnessed in Damascus over the past few days is a testimony to that. I extend also my profound condolences and my heartfelt sympathies to the families of all the victims and to the wounded in Wednesday's bombings. I expressed my condemnation of the attack yesterday to the Syrian government, and I call on the parties to end the bloodshed and violence in all its forms, recommitting to a peaceful solution to this conflict. As you all know too well, the current mandate of UNSMIS expires on the 20th of July. As a consequence of that, my duties as head of UNSMIS also expires a few days later. That does not mean that my affections to Syria and my affections to the Syrian people ends today. My love for the people of this country and my desire for them to regain peace are endless. When the moment comes when I leave satisfied that I and some 400 brave women and men, under very challenging circumstances, have done our best. We shifted our posture more than once to accommodate the changes in the security situation, yet still maintain the ability to intervene whenever possible. But the mandate of UNSMIS will become relevant when the political process takes off. That is why any extension of the mission would come with a shift to a more political posture. It is the Security Council that decides the fate of UNSMIS and the UN political and military presence in Syria. It is no secret that its members are divided on what actions are needed to end the killing and begin a political transition. It has been said many times, but I'll say it again. For the sake of the Syrian people, for the sake of their aspirations, we need less talk and effective leadership from the Security Council, and genuine unity around a political plan that meets the aspirations of the Syrian people, and that is accepted by the parties. Government and opposition must be willing to make the necessary concessions and sit at the negotiations table. The alternative to that is many days and weeks of more suffering, and they do not deserve this. If this happens, if we have such strong and dedicated leadership by the Security Council, The presence of the mission, a UN political military presence in Syria, UNSMIS, will be credible, and the mission can contribute to improving the situation on the ground. Let me also end by saying that there is no lasting hope in the military solution. I, as a soldier, know more than many that the decision in favor of peace is harder than that of war. But I have learned through many years of military practice that it is still better to make that hard choice. To choose peace, even if you think you can win the war. For it is the fabric of a society that will be deeply damaged by war, or greatly enhanced by the prevalence of peace. Let me close by saying that one of the human beings I admire most, Nelson Mandela, had his birthday yesterday. What would be better, nicer, more relevant in this crisis in Syria to offer this old gentleman the gift of an effective Security Council resolution and a cessation of violence in Syria to stop the bloodshed and move in a peaceful direction. Thank you.
هل تعتقدون أنه انسحاب تم التمديد بعمل البعثة فذلك سيكون أفضل من إيقافها أو رحيل المراقبين؟ وما رأيكم بما جرى في الأيام الثلاثة الماضية خاصة في دمشق؟
So do you believe that extending the mandate of the mission even is better than completely going out of the country as UNSMIS? And what do you think of the past 3 days' violence in Syria?
Thank you. Our recommendation from the ground in Syria has been very clear. There is no moral justification for abandoning the Syrian people. There should be a UN presence on the ground. And we have also argued that we need to make that tool on the ground relevant. And that is what we're trying to do with the recommendations and with the report of the Secretary General, where he points out this direction. That is the tool that we all are convinced on the ground will serve the future process in the best possible way. So it's more commitment in this context rather than less commitment. Now, what is going to be decided in the Security Council is, of course, way beyond what I can predict. This is now politics. This is now interests and discussions among the key nations. I'm not going to speculate. I'm not going to have strong opinions of it because it would be wrong of me, but I have one strong opinion on it, and that is we need strong, effective leadership where the Council is united and where it moves forward with what is best to serve the Syrian people and stop the killing.
Russian TV channel. Thank you very much for being with us. May I just ask you, please, to evaluate exactly what the UN mission here in Syria could do and how this mission could help in a situation like this, in what we saw yesterday when terror attack killed many very important people in this country and actually very easily in a luxury district here in Damascus, in a calm and peaceful area. Exactly how the UN mission can help in this situation, ease tensions and stop this. Thank you very much.
Let me go back to the basic idea of the mission. We arrived on the 29th of April in a situation in which the Security Council offered a tool on the ground that could help monitor the commitment of the parties to cessate violence, to stop fighting. They decided not to. And we're seeing an escalation and we're seeing that high-value target is being directly attacked in the heart of Damascus. But in terms of lives, there's no difference between those who are killed in Damascus and those who have been killed for a long time in other cities. The value of an unarmed observer mission is that we can be extremely helpful when the parties decide to use that tool. If they decide not to use it, it has limited value. We are the first to recognize that. When we look forward, for however long this period of violence might last, we have seen in different situations around the world that UN presence on the ground, to have the context, to have the dialogue, to build on local stability, to build on local engagement, is crucial to be able to move forward once there is an opening for this process. So to engage locally on these dialogues, to be here symbolically with the Syrian people and practically with them to work on these local dialogues is for me crucial to be ready when this keeps up traction. We are not going to be able to stop the violence. 300 unarmed observers cannot stop the violence. We are not going to be able to impose anything on these players. We are 300 unarmed people. But once the political process starts, the tool is there, it's effective, we have proven its value.
تفضل لو سمحت الشاب excuse me.
You have mentioned at the beginning that the UN mission, you didn't evaluate if this mission has been succeeded or it's been failure. Secondly, you emphasized on the UN role inside Syria. Can you please describe exactly what is UN role? Is it, military existence on the ground? How do you, if UN wants to help Syria right now, would they send the troops? Is this what you're trying to tell us, sir?
The UN role in Syria as we speak is exactly what is described in the UN Security Council Resolution Mandate 2043. UNSMIS is on the ground to monitor and report. On the 15th of June, the level of violence reached such a level that I suspended operations. In the aftermath of that, we have changed the posture of the mission to 4 regional sites to be able to be more flexible and respond to changing situations. That is our role today. When the Security Council votes this afternoon, I do not know what will be the conclusion on the voting. What I do know is that the Secretary General have recommended a presence on the ground that will be mainly politically oriented to build on local stability project as the best way to go forward. That is the current situation, and that is what is most probable in the coming days and weeks.
Thank you very much. We're going to have to leave you.